Senator Murphy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for being here. Ambassador, good to see you again. I noted in either your testimony or your early answers the relatively small number within the HMP that are really doing the day-to-day work, which makes the recent disclosure that there are several hundred private military contractor personnel from a company called Vectus, owned by a Trump affiliate, a Trump ally, Eric Prince, apparently in the country today. We have been pretty careful about having American private military contractors in conflict zones, American mercenaries. I just want to ask you, what do you understand right now is the role of this particular company, Vectus? What are these 200 personnel doing? What level of coordination do you have with them? And are there other companies on the ground other than Vectus, private military companies, that are being contracted by the police force or by the Haitian government?
Senator, it's important in the case of the PMC, the private military contractors on the ground, that we all understand the same framework, and that is that that contract is between the Haitian government and between them and the private military contractor. The monies, the revenues being used to pay for it are Haitian revenues. The point is, this is a decision the Haitian government made. This is not a U.S. contract. I just want to make that crystal clear at the outset. In terms of what they do, they have been, I think everyone is aware because there's been a lot of coverage of it, of the so-called kamikaze drones, the point being drones with ordnance. They have been also providing a lot of comparative advantages in this fight, primarily the ability to fight at night, and also bringing in experienced fighters who have done this, either anti-gang in other countries or special operations personnel from allied countries. The point being, they're experienced military personnel. And that's where we need to understand that what's going on in the ground is not analogous to what we saw, say, with Mayor Giuliani in New York in the late 80s, where there was a gang problem, and the idea was, let's fix cracked glass and hand out more jaywalking tickets. We have full-scale urban warfare going on. And so what the PMCs have been doing is bringing in people who have experience in precisely that element, which is urban combat operations.
So let me ask you this. The reports are that Vectus drone strikes, again, this is an American company, operating drone strikes inside of Haiti, has killed 559 people and 11 children. This is an American company. We've been very careful about introducing American forces into Haiti because of the blowback that it has had against America's reputation and our interests in the region. But this is an American company that is killing hundreds of people. Under the Arms Export Control Act, the State Department is required to license the export of defense articles or military services. So did the State Department issue a license to Vectus Global to export defense services to Haiti?
The State Department has issued licenses for anyone who meets the law in terms of the regulatory and statutory policies that apply for the export.
But just answer my, I respect you, but answer my question.
Yes.
The State Department has issued a license.
Yes.
So were you involved in the issuance of that license?
No.
Can you speak to the consideration given for the indictments brought against the prior companies run by Mr. Prince for violating arms exports, for the massacre that happened under his leadership in Iraq? This obviously should have relevance to whether this company is allowed to operate in Haiti and whether there will potentially be blowback against the United States, as there was with respect to Mr. Prince's other private military companies operating in other conflict areas.
Senator, you will respect that I cannot use this opportunity to indict Eric Prince or any of his various companies. Also, any licensing that's done, I'm going to have to refer you to the Political Military Bureau at State Department because that's their area of expertise and responsibility. It doesn't happen through the U.S. Embassy. However, I will offer you a counterfactual. Can you imagine how the situation with regard to security and stability would be different if we didn't have people with experience contributing to this fight on behalf of the Haitian government. I can assure you that if we didn't have people who brought the expertise to it, to be able to fight at night and to be able to introduce other variables into this equation, the whole situation, and one mentioned by several of your colleagues here, state collapse, we would be much closer to that nasty precipice than we are at the moment. So let me be clear, I don't carry a torch for this outfit, but I have to offer you my best professional counsel, which is precisely that, which is that we would be in a situation that is much worse than we're in at the moment.
Well, with all due respect, that is the argument that was made to us regarding the presence of Blackwater inside Iraq, that we would not be able to maintain security without them, and that we were naive to criticize the presence at that scale of a massive American military contractor. It ended up in the massacre of Iraqis, which severely damaged our ability to carry out our mission inside that country, provided impetus for the rise of a dangerous terrorist group that ended up killing thousands of civilians and draining the American treasury. So I hear your caution, but it sounds eerily familiar to one that got us wrapped up into a dangerous, long conflict in the Middle East. I hope that as our point man on the ground, you are careful about expanding the role of any private military contractor that ultimately, whose actions are ultimately going to accrue not just to their reputational detriment, but to ours as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Your points are acknowledged, Senator.